Let's start with the forefather of the genre, Skydiver, released back in 2002. This wasn't just a game, it was a physics puzzle in disguise. You started at a terrifying altitude, falling fast. The graphics were simple but striking for the time: blue skies, green fields, and later, urban environments that scrolled beneath your tiny character. The hook was the timing. You couldn't just open the parachute immediately. You had to wait for the perfect moment. Open it too high, and you'd drift for an eternity, losing points. Open it too low, game over. Long before gyroscopes were standard, some of these titles used the phone's orientation to steer your diver left and right. It felt like magic. But the game that really pushed the limits of the flip phone was a title released a bit later, often known as 20,000 Feet Falling, developed by Fugumobile. The name alone sets the stakes. You aren't just jumping out of a plane. You are leaping from the edge of space 20 kilometers up. That is the stratosphere. Here is where the technical genius of Java developers shines. It was 2009, and a publisher named Glue Mobile was at the top of their game. They had a winning formula: original IP, snappy graphics, and frantic action. And in July of that year, they released a game that promised the dark arts of combat and the title of The Last Ninja Standing. The premise is simple, which is exactly what you wanted in a mobile game you played while hiding in the back of math class. You play as Kanji, the fastest ninja in the land. According to the official press release from June 2009, players are sent on a thrilling quest of vengeance. Your ultimate opponent is the evil Sean Poo. The goal is to eliminate everyone standing in your way so you can become the last of the 99 ninjas. It's a classic zero-sum game. There are 99 of you, and you intend to be number one. What set 99 Ninjas apart from the endless runners and puzzle games of its time was its commitment to momentum. This is a 2D platformer, and the developers at Glue gave Kanji a move set that was almost too ambitious for a numeric keypad. You can run at near sonic speeds. You can cling to vertical surfaces like Spider-Man. But the star of the show is the grappling hook. By hitting the jump button mid-air, Kanji shoots a tether. If you time it right, you can use your momentum to fling yourself across massive gaps and launch up to higher platforms. You can slash at an enemy, but because the hitboxes are inconsistent, you often take damage even when you look like you've landed the hit. There is also a frustrating lack of visual feedback. You don't really feel the impact. So, a game that should be about high-speed slaughter often slows down to a frustrating crawl as you die repeatedly to basic enemies. But the combat isn't the only source of frustration. 99 Ninjas has a mean streak in its level design. To mix up the platforming, the game introduces umbrella and bubble stages. Suddenly, you aren't a high-speed killing machine. You are Mary Poppins with a sword. You have to float down gently using an umbrella or ride a bubble upward, dodging spikes left and right. One blogger reviewing the game back in 2009 pointed out that these sections feel out of place. You go from wall running like a god to pixel hunting a safe path through spikes. And because the checkpoints are sparse, one mistap sends you back to the beginning of a long, slow level. It kills the momentum, kills the fun. You go from feeling like a ninja to feeling like a frustrated kid on a bus ride home. This is the story of medieval combat, Age of Glory. Released on August 15, 2005, by the legendary mobile studio Gameloft. This game had no business being as good as it was for a Java title. In a time when most mobile games were simple puzzles or Snake clones, Medieval Combat tried to bring the arcade fighting game experience, think Soul Calibur or Guilty Gear, directly onto your N-Gage or flip phone keypad. And surprisingly, it mostly worked. But despite the pixel count, the art direction was stellar. The sprites are large, huge, actually, for the screen size, and they are surprisingly fluid. When you land a heavy hit, you can actually see armor plates and helmets crack or fly off the character model. For 2005, on a phone, that was next gen. The backgrounds are static, but they're dripping with atmosphere. You fight in castles with stained glass windows, creepy graveyards with wandering spirits, and burning city squares. There's even a cheeky tutorial mode where a little jester teaches you how to play. which was rare for mobile games back then. First, you have the basics. Arthur, the noble knight, and Elwyn, the elven warrior woman. Standard fare. Well, executed. Then you get weird. You have Machiavelli, a tattooed, psychotic jester with metal claws. Seriously, this guy looks like he escaped a horror movie. There's Scarred, a brutal executioner with a giant axe, and Sneer, a lizard-like berserker. But the bosses are where it gets wild. To unlock the full roster, you have to beat the arcade mode to face Faust and Diablo, and no, not the RPG Diablo, but a literal red demon with horns. The lore is minimalist. You don't get cutscenes, you get vibes. These aren't heroes saving a princess. They are gladiators fighting for glory, and that's really all you need. You also have dashes, air combos, and a taunt button. The taunt doesn't just annoy your opponent, it literally drains their magic meter. It's a risky psychological weapon. Medieval combat is strictly a single-player affair. Against the AI, the game is fun, but once you master the counters and the AI patterns, the Age of Glory feels a little lonely. When we think of Ace Combat, we think of next-gen graphics, realistic flight models, and epic stories about peace and war. But in 2011, Bandai Namco tried something completely different. They went back to the 90s arcade roots and hit a top-down shooter right inside your mobile phone. Released in December 2011 for Java-enabled mobile phones, think Nokia and Sony Ericsson. Ace Combat Northern Wings was a bold experiment. While the PlayStation was busy with Ace Combat Assault Horizon, this mobile title took a different route. It is the second Ace Combat game released for mobile devices, following Ace Combat Skies of Incursion. But unlike its 3D predecessor, Northern Wings is a 2D, top-down arcade shooter. It ditches the cockpit view for a retro perspective where you see your jet from above, dodging bullets and locking onto targets. You start in 1999, right after the Ulysses asteroid fell, and you continue fighting all the way to 2016. You will interfere with Eritrea, fight Yuktobanian forces, and even get involved in the Estevakian Civil War. You are the shadow fixing the world without anyone knowing. The controls are surprisingly tight for a Java game. You move your fighter using the 2, 4, 6, and 8 keys. The game simplifies combat beautifully. Your machine gun fires automatically at nearby enemies, so you focus on dodging fire. Your main weapon is missiles, fired with the 5 key. But the best feature is the wingman mechanic. By pressing 7, you call in Grendel 2 and Grendel 3 to perform a screen-clearing special attack. It adds a tiny layer of strategy to the arcade chaos. There are 2 main mission types: air battles, dogfighting agile jets, and airstrikes, bombing ground targets. There are even unique sequences like stealth infiltration missions and, surprisingly, an air refueling. Northern Wings isn't a masterpiece. It doesn't have the emotional weight of Megalith or The Unsung War, but it represents a fascinating era of mobile gaming, a time when developers didn't try to copy console games with touch screens, but instead made unique, scaled-down experiences designed for buttons. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this trip back into mobile gaming history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out more retro game content.